Welcome back to Barrel Brothers, and today we're on the Viperccino. Stay tuned. Since you last saw it, we have added a couple of small details. What I've done is I bought some seats for it in the form of these guys here. They're actually new old stock MOMO Thousand Lakes, and they've never been used. They were sold by Roman Auto Tech back in 14th of the 9th 1995, so they're like almost 30 years old. And they've never been used. See the FIA standard there and everything. They're a fixed back, so these guys here are velcroed on, as you can see, as are these here, the front ones. See the velcro, so you can move those around precariously. And the idea, when I first saw them, of course I thought, oh, they're red, but it's actually a fairly similar colour to ye old Cappuccino. They do actually fit in them quite nicely. There's no farting in these seats. But yeah, they help hold you in really well. What we don't know is A, will they fit in the car, and B, if they fit in the car, will I be actually able to get in and out because of this high side on them. But let's pull these seats out of the car and find out. I've showed you before how hard these things are to actually get in and out of. They're quite a small car, and the seats are pretty good and hold you in quite well. I wish they were a little bit deeper so you could sit into more, which those ones might do. So normally you go 1 foot in and away you go. So we're in now, and that's perfectly adequate. And this has caught me out in the past where I've pulled into a car park, somebody's pulled in next to me, and I can't have the door all the way open. So as you can see, like, your feet are quite far down in there, and the sill comes up quite high, of course, because it's a convertible. So if your door's here, you can't actually get your feet out. Door's got to be all the way open. I'm not as young and bendy as I used to be, so those might be a bit much once they're in the car, but let's see. Things you find under the seat. It's pretty worn and shot. We've got a bit of chopped up covering here. That looks like it was the one that came off here somewhere. But most worrying of all is this stuff here, which I think is actually off the seat. By the way, that's $3 so far. So we're going to have to get the vacuum cleaner out into this. Oh, it's not too bad. Looks like most of that stuff's come off maybe here. Looks like it's had some water in it at some stage. There's a little bit of rust around the holes here, but not much. I mean, being a convertible, it's bound to have happened sooner or later. Anyway, we'll dig out the vacuum cleaner, give this a bit of a clean up, and then have a look at putting the other ones in. Are they actually going to fit? Because it's quite a tight deal here. If you're looking down at this, let's close the door. Problem. But that is also sitting on the floor at the moment, and you don't have to raise it far for it to actually fit in. Now, doing some measurements on it, here's the interesting stuff. The gap between here and here is exactly the same as the gap between here and here. So these rails will almost bolt on. Almost, you say? Yes. Well, the gap between this bolt and this bolt that way is about that much longer. You could probably get away with drilling a new hole into this on the forward, like it'd be down here. You'd have to put it down here. Nobody has it full forward, like no one. Because everybody hops into this and tries to put the seat back. I'm about 5'8". Yeah, so we could do that, like just bolt it up there and go back, but I want to see if they're actually going to fit first. So I've got to figure out how much this seat rail raises the seat before I start to do anything sort of proper with it. I need to know that they fit. I actually need to take the other seat out and put both of them in there, because the wings might actually hit against each other and then we can't put them all also. So I don't know if they're a narrow seat, but I don't know if they're going to actually fit. I have to say though, it does look good in there. It looks awesome. No cash. It's a tight fit. Even the sides in between the tunnel and the side here, it's a tight fit. I don't know if this is going to actually work. I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe this is a looks great but doesn't actually work thing. There's more room in between the tunnel and the side of the door on the driver's side than there is on the passenger side. And funnily enough, the passenger side fits better than the driver's side. I wonder if I'll take the rails off this one and just bolt them all with the 2 bolts and then bolt them into the car and just see what it's actually like. That might be the best bet. Actually, before I do that, I might just try getting in and out of it. Trouble is now, if I try and get out, the seat will come with me. But I can't close the door there. So the seat's got to go up probably an inch or so. These shoulder wings here may be the killer. Can I get out? More difficult. Okay, so it's going to be a push yourself out job and then over the top. More exercise in it, that's for sure. Man, they look good in there though. Let's see if we can get this to work. I've just put them on with the front bolts at this stage of the game. Interestingly, they have on the standard seat, they have 2 spacer washers at the front, and they have a spacer up the back here. Well, there it is there, in underneath, which gives us, I don't know, about 5 millimeters higher. So let's try putting it in the car. Oh, my washer fell out already. Not high enough. That's got to come up a chunk before it's actually going to fit with the door. So close. That's the problem. The standard seat's back in, and for Cappuccino owners, I have some divine knowledge. When putting your passenger side seatbelt, or driver side for that moment, if you have the seatbelt buckle in the standard position, they won't go in. You've got to put it back like that so you can actually, because it comes up against the wing of the seat and you just cannot line the bolt holes up. Only took me 15 minutes to figure that out. I'm going, why won't it go back in? I'm trying to twist and turn. I could get the 2 fronts in or the 2 backs in, but then the others wouldn't line up. And then penny dropped. Seatbelt buckle. I'll look after you. So what are we going to do here? I think what I need to do is get some of those seat rails, the ones that come up the side and bolt to the side of the seat, bolt those in, and then we can set the seat height and how far back it is, like it's so it's in there permanently, because they do have the bolt holes in the side here to make them suit. So I reckon that's the way to do it. We can't make them so that they are adjustable front, forwards and backwards. They are a comfortable enough seat once in there. They're a little bit trickier to get in and out of. It's all going to be part of the deal, isn't it? Instead of sporting out and buying, you know, $400 worth of seat mounts and rails and whatnot, I thought what I'd do is go over to the steel store and get some pieces of steel for $22 that I could then spend about $800 of my time putting in what I'd like to call Project False Economy. But, like, you know, you can go and buy stuff, but it's actually more fun making it. So that's the plan today. I bought 2 different thicknesses, 25 by 25, which will raise the seat that amount, and 25 by 50, which will raise the seat that amount. I think that one might be the go, and I think I'll start with that one. They say size doesn't matter. Well, I beg to differ. Okay, so it looks like these front ones will be about the same position, and the back one will sit back and that one will sit forward. So we'll do that maybe on a bit of an angle so we can get in. And this one I think we'll just go straight through and put a long bolt through it for the time being, and just to secure everything in place so we can actually put it in the... I can't test it. I need to put it in the car and like drive around the block at least to see whether it's actually livable or not. Probably not, but you know, maybe it'll be one of those put it in for a track day sort of deal. But if it's comfy enough, I'll put them in and leave them in there. I can't have my phone and my wallet in my side pockets here because that's too tight. Let's get cutting some pieces of stuff up. I think we'll just go straight for the 2-inch, the 50mm, 327. Okay, so that side's on. That's good to go. This side, we've got to do a little bit of mucking around with, and I'll show you why. What it's got is this little area here on the adjuster. So what we're going to have to do is cut a slot out in here for this to fit. And I'm thinking all of these rails and everything, they're all made out of 2mm steel, 2mm thick steel. Our little gizmos here are 3mm thick. I'm thinking that these might be the go. If it works out, if it actually works in the car, I might just powder coat these black so that they match everything else, and leave it at that. Anyway, I'm going to mark this out. So we need to mill out basically through to zip in that area under there so we can fit this in. I might just pull that off and we'll stick it in the mill and mill it all down. I could use an angle grinder, but it's a bit messy, and I'm like, I've got toys. Like, if you've got toys, use them. It's going to take longer, but it's going to be beautiful when it's finished. I'll just run around the edge with a file. Perfect. And we just file the sharp edges off, and away we go. Like I bought one. The old metal splinter in the finger trick. Where's my pliers? Fine side cutters if there's enough hanging out to grab a hold of. Problem fixed. Did you see my deliberate mistake? How are you going to move the seat back and forth, Mark? Duh. Just like I bought one. That's ready to put in the car. So before I pick it up, let's clean my hands. Nope, that's not high enough. See, still on the door. Bugger. Okay, so the mechanics of it are this. I can mucked around with it. I can get it to fit, but by the time you get the wing up over the door, you're sitting that high that it's just not going to work. So what I'm going to do is put the standard one back in without all these jack-up washers, and live with that. And these guys, I'll give them a bit of a clean up and sell them on. Sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. Gives me something to do on a Saturday though. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll just put those bits of steel in the in the steel bin and come up with some other use for them. That's what all bits of steel end up as. Yeah, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. What are we doing next time? I'm not quite sure. Could be back on turbos. Depends how things pan out. But yeah, look after yourselves. See ya. Whoops. I might drive that home with the roof off. Better check the weather first.